Hey everybody, and welcome back to my continuing coverage of the 2019 Dallas International Film Festival. I'm Chase Lee, and hey, listen guys, I love doing these festivals for you guys because you never know what you're going to find. I love just seeing whatever, kind of going in blind for most of these and just seeing what sticks and what doesn't, and that's kind of what I'm here to do. And so this is the fifth film on my journey of this film festival, and it's called Sister Aimee, and this one is directed by Samantha Buck and Marie Schillingman, and this one stars Anna Margaret Hollyman as Sister Aimee McPherson, and she was an evangelical kind of pastor in the 1920s, and so she showboated audiences, she would heal audiences in front of them, she would sing, she would dance, she was basically an entertainer in the 20s, using religion to kind of mask that entire thing, and so she had a huge following. And so she's really successful, she's really popular, and this is the 1920s, this, pre-internet age, everything age, and so she built this following from the ground up, and it's kind of just impressive to see someone work in that capacity in the 20s, because you hear about evangelicals, nowadays, and, it's pretty much the same thing. It's someone getting up there and doing a song and dance for their crowd and everything, but this one is quite interesting because it almost feels like a circus act, and so it's just cool to kind of see it at a different point in time. But the story kind of follows her, and she's getting kind of tired of doing this, and so she kind of goes on the run, fakes her death, marries literally the first guy that she sees in the movie, and then they start their adventure down to Mexico, running into a translator and of course other characters along the way. I had no idea what this movie was about, and I actually had no idea it was based on a real life person. The producer was there, and she did specifically say before the movie started, this is not a 100% true biography. This is more of taking this story and kind of spinning it in a very entertaining fashion. And the movie even says it itself. It's only like 5.5% true. So I'm not going to take that into consideration when reviewing this because they set themselves up to do something different, and I think they completed that for the most part. But for this one, it's kind of interesting. When I was done watching it, I realized that this was a pretty decent movie. It had a lot of great ideas. I just thought it was kind of half-baked when it came to fulfilling those ideas, and I thought it was a mildly entertaining movie. It's not bad. It's not good. I just think it's straight down the middle. So you guys already know what my grade is, but let me just tell you about my experience. So, to get this out of the way, the fact that this is a true story, just as a side note, I would love to watch this as like a mini-series on HBO, a documentary, like an actual documentary on this person and this subject, or just something. I want to see something, a mini-series, a one-shot documentary, whatever. I want to see it and then kind of explore this character a little bit more, because that is one of the downfalls of this movie, is that while it does take the more kind of crowd-pleasing, entertaining kind of Coen Brothers route, I do feel like there was, some care and some, lack of fulfillment in terms of why she was really doing this and what her overall goals were and stuff. Because in the movie, she basically she just meets the guy and she's like, all right, I'm going to Mexico. And, the synopsis I read to you is that she is fed up with her own success and she wants to kind of move on. But it never really comes across like that. So she's a character that has a one-track mind throughout the entire thing. She needs to get to Mexico. But there's not really much else there. But I will say, as a side note, it is very entertaining to follow her and her journey to the border with her new husband and their translator, because it does kind of have that Coen Brothers feel, where not only does it stylistically with the cinematography really using composition and framing to display humor, suspense, or just pure visual beauty. So it's got that going for it, but it also reminded me on the level of, treating their, story and their environment as nihilistic and bleak as possible, and having these characters have kind of like that attitude, but they use humor to kind of strike through most of their situations. So I actually kind of liked the tone and the style. I could have seen more, to be honest with you. The movie was an hour and a half. I could have seen easily 2 hours of this thing. So this is one of those rare cases where I wish the movie was longer. It probably would have had time to explore the character a little bit more, explore a little bit more of the tone and getting its footing properly, because I do feel like an hour into the movie is when it really kind of kicks up for me. But at that point, you have 30 minutes left, so you kind of just lost me. But I'm not saying it was a bad watch. I was entertained, but in terms of getting to like the meat of the character and meat of the story, it did take a while. So once again, this could have been a miniseries or a longer movie, and I probably would have been satisfied. But going back to the whole entertaining aspect of it, the actors and actresses of this thing, great. Like, they are the ones that propelled this movie to the level that it is, because if you would have gotten anyone else to do this role, or anyone else to play her husband or translator, the goons that they come across, or like the sheriff, or just whatever, every single person works in this movie, and they feel like I feel like they're having a lot of fun while saying all this crazy dialogue and some of these like crazy situations. I feel like they really lived in their performances, and that's probably the strongest aspect for me, because Anna Margaret Hollyman, she's really great as Sister Aimee. She's got like that crass attitude. She has a biting attitude, but she also seems loving and caring at the same time. And there's a lot going on with her. I wish the character development was a little bit more on that one. So, but then of course on top of that, her new husband Michael Mosley, great comedic timing on that man. The paranoia and the fear in his eyes is always fun to watch in the movie. And then Andrea Suarez Paz, she's a translator, and she was probably my favorite character. She was probably the most developed and the most interesting out of that trio, given her backstory. And they focused actually a lot of time on her, surprisingly. And I really liked that. I thought she was by far the best part in terms of written and performance-wise. She was fantastic. So yeah, and then on top of that, it looks really great. It focuses a lot on the desert scene. A lot of sand, a lot of mountains and stuff, but it's still beautifully shot. It doesn't ever come across as bland or boring to watch. It's always kind of up in the ante each scene and how they frame each character, and it's just really interesting visual language on that front. So yeah, listen, is this something I will watch again? Probably not. Would I want to see something more kind of grounded in the reality of the situation that happened, and more of a, not 100% true, because nothing's going to be 100% true in the documentary world, but, like a 90% true documentary? I would love to see that, or some type of series based on it. I think I would be more interested in that. But as far as this effort goes, to make a Coen Brothers light type of film, I thought they did just fine. So I'm going to give Sister Aimee a C. So what do you guys think of the movie? Comment in that place right below my face and let me know. And that will do it for this review, guys. And tune in next time for whatever I review next from the Dallas International Film Festival. I'll see you guys later.